Here we're looking at the Respironics Ultrafill tank filling system. And you'll notice that the system is made up of two parts. There's two components to it. This is the oxygen concentrator, and the oxygen concentrator is the oxygen source. It is able to pull in air out of the room, and it has the ability to absorb nitrogen. So as long as that machine is on and running, it keeps drawing in room air, absorbing nitrogen and pumping it back out into the room air, and then just leaving oxygen coming out. So when I start this machine, I'm going to go ahead and hit the power switch here. And you'll notice at first I get all the lights on, then just the power light. Now, unless there's a problem, just that power light will come on. Otherwise, either of these other indicators, yellow or red lights, will come on to indicate that there's a problem with the machine, which of course you would need to call Corner Home Medical in order to take care of that. Setting the machine for use is a matter of adjusting this by turning this knob and looking at the ball inside that tube. So set this according to your prescription from your doctor to get the proper liter flow, that's liters per minute, that the machine is set at. And then your tubing for using this concentrator is attached to the outlet here. So this is where the oxygen tubing attaches. Then you'll notice on this side of the tank, or on this side of the concentrator, there's another tube, and this tube attaches from the concentrator over to the filling compressor. So it's important to note that the concentrator is the part that makes the oxygen. This does not make oxygen, but it takes oxygen through this tubing in order to fill the tank that's attached to the top. So in order to fill a tank, going through the filling procedure, what we'll do, number one, make sure that this machine has been on and running for at least 5 minutes. An oxygen concentrator, because of the way it works, starts out putting out a low percentage of oxygen, and after several minutes it'll put out its optimum amount. So you want to wait at least 5 minutes and let the machine run. Once it's been on and running for that amount of time, you want to make sure that these tubings are connected between the two. Then you can go ahead and attach your tank. I'm going to go ahead and release it by pushing this release button here just to show you how it attaches. So this stem goes into the socket here, and I just need to set it in place and push down, and it locks. Now in order to check it, you can just pull up on the tank, make sure that it's locked into position, and then we can go ahead and fill the tank. Now before I start filling, I'm going to want to make sure, like I mentioned, that the flow gauge is at 3 liters per minute or under. And the reason for that is because the machine can only make so much oxygen. And if we're using more than 3 liters per minute, there's not enough oxygen content left to fill the tank. So right now I've got my concentrator running over there at about 2 liters per minute. I'm going to go ahead and, with my tank attached, I'll hit the power switch on the Ultrafill compressor, and that does not actually start the filling process. So that just turns on the electronics. The next thing I'm going to do is hit this power button. And there's just a black button here. There's not a marking on it. It just says there's just a black button. But you'll notice right now this blue light is just on and it's not flashing. Notice when I hit the button, the sound changes. You can hear the compressors kick in and start to fill the tank. And you'll also notice that that light is flashing. Now it'll take a couple of hours to fill a tank. The reason this one is going up quicker is because there's already contents in this cylinder, okay? So the filling process is going quite rapidly here because it's already sensing that there's oxygen in this tank. Otherwise it would start here and it would take a couple of hours to get all the way to the full mark. When the last blue light is on at full, at the F right here, then the tank is full. The filling compressor part will stop at that point, so you could just leave it on. You don't have to be here the whole time and watch it, make sure that it's turned off right after it's full. You can just let it fill, it'll quit by itself. This switch will still be on, but the filling process will stop by itself. So in order to take the tank off, what we're going to do when we're done, I'm going to shut off the compressor. Let's say it's full at this point. Then I can push this button right here. And by pushing this button, it's going to release it. And because I've started to fill, there's going to be some back pressure to it. So be ready, have your hand over the tank, give it a push down, and it'll pop right off. You'll also notice here, the reason that this is called the Ultrafill is that this system fills tanks up to 3,000 psi. Typically, tanks are filled to 2,000 psi, so there's a third more oxygen content in the Ultrafill. So that's why it's called the Ultrafill, because it fills the tank to 3,000 psi.